What is up, nerds? I'm Jerry from Them Nerds here with my buddy Tony. We're about to talk about episode 8 of What If? What if Vision? Or I'm sorry, what if Ultron? What? Right?
I mean,
Either
it
way,
looks
it's the
like
same
Vision.
person at the end of the day.
It looks like Vision.
Yeah,
Good enough. It's a good episode, man.
it was a great episode. I think that, I didn't really know where I was going to go after last week's episode with Thor, having this Ultron version of Vision appearing on the end of the last, 10 seconds of the episode. But it kind of explains why there's this Vision, jumping around.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing episode.
The thing that I liked so much about this episode was that continuity. That's something that we've kind of talked about, back and forth here on our reviews of what if is there going to be continuity? Are we going to see certain threads come back? And at the end of the last episode where Thor was an only child, we got to see that sort of stinger at the end, like, oh crap, there's Ultron and he looks like Vision and he has all the stones. What the hell? And then the whole episode was about that this time.
Yeah, you had this basis of basically, Ultron finally getting his wish of having his symbiote. I wouldn't guess it's not symbiote, but whatever. So, this body for it to live in and destroying the world. And so the only people remaining of the Avengers are just Clint Barton and Natasha, and they are running around trying to figure out a way to ultimately stop him.
Right. Yeah, great chase sequence right off the bat. Kind of reminiscent of the first Avengers film, where you kind of had Clint just sort of waiting for the Ultron drones to come by and just picking them off.
Yeah,
I love how this series, especially, but a lot of the Avengers media always kind of goes back to Black Widow and Hawkeye, and like, they don't have any powers and they're just like really well trained, assassins, and they always comes back to them, which I think is kind of cool. It would be the easy way out to be like, well, Hulk and Captain America survived because they're so powerful, but it's like we always get the human element.
Yeah.
So
I also thought that what impressed me about the episode was that it kind of had a very Days of Future Past feel to it, which is a big X-Men arc that happened in the 70s. And
right.
this idea of, robots basically taking over and killing mutant kind. And this is the same thing kind of, but just killing everybody. And so you have, the Black Widow and Hawkeye going to Mother Russia to hit up the KGB underground and find lost records. And that's where they find, I never can say his name. What's his name?
Arnim Zola.
Yeah, Zola. And who has, we know from Captain America, the first Avenger. So, and he helps them to figure out a way to download the information that is needed to stop this superpowered Vision Ultron, which he has now become superpowered, because what happens when he ultimately wins the war and kills off all mutant kind? Thanos shows up, and Thanos is no match for a Vision, and he just cuts him in half and takes the stones and basically becomes a whole body gauntlet.
It's kind of a running gag so far on What If that Thanos is kind of a punk.
Yeah.
He turns into like basically a deckhand for the Ravagers in one of the earlier episodes. And now he comes through and he's like looking all tough guy, and Ultron turns to him and he's like, interesting, and then he just lasers him in half.
Yeah. And so you have, now this Thanos version of Ultron, who has the ability to go around and basically just wreak havoc on every planet and universe that there is. And while doing so, the Watcher is trying to push his hand without actually interfering to get Clint and Natasha to find the stuff they need to find to finally stop him, and ultimately opens his mind up so big that Ultron's able to find him.
Right. That's, at the top of the show, I talked about how those threads of continuity were going to start showing up. One of the things that we've heard over and over again throughout this show, and for those of us that are, that know the comics and know the character of the Watcher, he hesitates to get involved. But throughout this show, it's like he's always like, should I? No. Should I? No. Right. And now he's, he doesn't have a choice. That kind of comes back and gets in our faces. And you mentioned Arnim Zola's AI being uploaded into the hive mind. Well, the reason that it didn't work and destroy, all of the Ultron hive mind was because he wasn't in that reality.
Yeah.
He wasn't even in that universe.
Yeah, he actually, pushes through and makes it into the multiverse. Almost like a mirror dimension, I guess you would call it, because he's able to see everything from there. And they have an epic battle between the Watcher and Vision, where they're just crashing through all these different realities. And
right,
there's one at the very end where you actually hear Steve Rogers being given the inauguration as President
Rogers.
Yeah, and so and the Watcher is having to fight to try to stop the Vision, or at least slow him down long enough for Natasha to figure out what's going on. But he realizes he can't do it when the Vision grabs him by his big old dome and starts to crush him to death, and he throws himself off, and you don't see where he goes. But the Vision says to him, ultimately where he's at, he can find him anywhere he goes.
Right.
And where does he go?
He goes into the tiny little crystal pocket dimension created, going back to continuity here, by none other than the tortured, seemingly evil, but maybe not, Doctor Strange from a couple episodes back, who ended up cocooning himself to save himself from his universe collapsing in on him.
Yeah. And this episode didn't come without loss. We lost, all the Avengers, pretty much every human that was on the planet. And Clint Barton ends up sacrificing himself to get Natasha to where she needs to be able to hopefully stop the Vision Ultron in a scene that's very, shot by shot for Endgame.
Yes.
And so it's the detail that these creators have done to, give the impact that we had originally when we saw these movies on the big screen, converting them into comics and just changing it just enough with the characters, but it has an impact. It's so good.
We've talked a lot over the course of the episodes that go along with What If about the quality of the animation and some of the just epic feel behind some of the scenes. My favorite one was tonight when Clint was sacrificing himself and diving down that shaft. There was that kind of like, it was a little bit skewed diagonally, and he was going down, and he had shot the arrow and he was going down behind the arrow, and there was this kind of like operatic music and this like orange glow, and you just saw all of the Ultron drones coming up, and this one, not, like I said earlier, non-powered individual just sacrificing himself. It was the most beautiful shot in the entire show so far, and that's saying something, because this has been a really, really well done show.
Very reminiscent of The Matrix, the final shot where Neo finally realizes he's also a sorcerer supreme or God or whatever he was supposed to be, and ends up stopping all the robots that are trying to storm. What was that place called? I don't know.
I don't remember. It's too late.
Who knows? That movie will be out later this month. I'll let you guys know what it was called.
That's right.
But ultimately, this episode was so good. It gave us a lot. We saw Captain Marvel in it, who was no match for Ultron. You see Wakanda.
Yeah, there was a little glimpse of Wakanda.
Yeah, I mean, it really did, tie together every episode we've seen so far through this series. Ultimately, what do you think this is leading to?
Well, one thing I hope it leads to, and this is absolutely not going to happen, but there was a scene where Mephisto. No, there was a scene where Ultron ate a galaxy. So of course I want to see Galactus now.
And not only did he eat a galaxy, the drawing of himself with the Ultron head and everything else looked so similar to what Galactus looks like in the comics. It was definitely a nod to it.
Yeah. But no, to be more realistic, what I hope to see come from this is I think the Watcher and I don't know, we'll call him naughty Doctor Strange, emo Doctor Strange, whatever you want to call him.
So naughty.
He's so naughty. He's the sorcerer naughty, not supreme. Um, I want to see the two of them kind of go back through the previous episodes and collect whatever heroes they need. You know, being able to go through and kind of pluck from all of the different, you know, universes. Definitely going to see Captain Carter again. I would assume we're going to see the T'Challa led Guardians and Ravagers characters. Assuming Ultron didn't absolutely destroy Bro Thor, maybe we'll see him again.
Yeah.
Maybe Big Blue Smurf Loki. I don't know.
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. That's the key.
Yeah. You know, Howard the Duck has been with them nerds since the beginning.
That's right.
Ridden this ride with us this whole way. He's really our mascot.
He should be our mascot. A duck with a beard should be our new character. Yeah, that's kind of where I see it going. I think they're gonna put us on ice the next episode, which of course we don't know what it is because this is what they do to us every week. They don't tell us ahead of time. I think they're going to put us on ice, and the next episode is not going to have anything to do with any of this continuity whatsoever. That's my guess.
It could be. And also, I do know that this season was actually supposed to be 10 episodes long, but because of COVID, they had to push the 10th episode into the second season. So there's a good chance we aren't meant to see the conclusion of this series at this time, which is fine with me. I mean, it's so good. And really what we've learned from this is that, and what we learned last week was that they are creating this huge division of animated, Marvel content, given a whole new president for it and everything else. And so this gives us a really good jumping point of what we're going to be ready to expect. We're like, you're getting cinematic versions of these characters that are just as good as anything you saw on there. I mean, sometimes they're silly, sometimes they don't make any sense, but that's
that's the beauty of animation.
Yeah, it definitely gives you, even on the episodes that were just filler episodes, they gave you a little bit of something.
Yeah.
Something in the multiverse.
Huh? Yep, my cat. She's a flirkin. Yeah, I think that this whole Watcher assembling his own little multiversal Avengers, which is what I think is going to happen. I don't think we're going to get any kind of closure on it this season.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
But I think they're going to spend the next one the last one?
So next one is the last one. Too soon. Too soon.
Boo, Marvel. Boo. I think it's going to be kind of a cliffhanger, and I think we're going to see some more building. I think we're going to get some more of these like multiversal Avengers kind of on the on the game field here.
I'm fine with that. Before we wrap this up, I just want to remind everybody to like, subscribe, and comment for a chance to win this Shang-Chi Funko Pop. This will be your last chance to be able to win this Funko Pop because we plan on revealing who the winner of it is by the next episode. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
That's right. Don't forget to follow us on social media at We Them Nerds on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. For all of the latest breaking news, definitely follow us on Instagram, where my homeboy Jerry is constantly putting out content, letting people know what's going on out there in the nerd sphere. I learn something new every day when I look at them nerds on Instagram. All right. Jerry and I have discussed this, so I'm not speaking out of turn. In October, we're going to be coming back to some of our roots. We're going to be going back to our Throwback Thursday movie reviews, and we're going to be focusing in October on some Halloween films, and we're going to be going back to some of the formats that we've done in the past, like Fantasy Friday type things, and whatever we can do to hang out, talk nerd stuff, and share it with you beautiful people. That's what we're after. All right. So stick with us, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Be good. Be good to each other.
Stay nerdy.
Later, nerds.